Again, and welcome to Southern Country. Hi, I'm Herb Sutton. On this show, I'm very happy to say my special guest is Mr. Charlie Daniels. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Herb.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Good to be here.
It's my pleasure, sir, to have a guy that I've played music for so many years and played videos. Let's talk about Simple Man, your LP. I read where it's a couple of songs are controversial, or
well, yeah, our music from time to time has been viewed as controversial by certain people. I don't look at it. It's actually the people. It's not really controversial. Some of the folks that write for some of the newspapers seem to take me to task a little bit, but that's nothing new.
What was said about it? Do you mind?
Well, you know, I was called a fascist. I mean, it was basically what it boils down to is some people have more pity for criminals than they do for victims. And, you know, of course, I believe in protecting everybody's rights, but enough's enough. We just, watching this country get so tore up by crime and drugs that it's not the country it used to be, and that's all the Simple Man song is about.
Happen to agree with you, sir. Happen to agree with you.
Thank you.
I tell you, it's controversial, whatever it is, it can't be too bad. It went to the album is number 2 on the charts. It can't be too bad. The single went to number 12. It went gold. It's the fastest selling album or released since The Devil Went to Georgia?
Something like it, yeah. So it's moved along pretty good.
Hard to believe, you know, that people are saying things like that.
Well,
it crossed over the charts, the pop charts, too.
Yeah, the album crossed over the pop
stayed up there for, what, 25 weeks or something?
It's still on the charts.
Is it
it's still on, in fact, we've been on the charts for over a year now.
Wow. Hey, tell me about the 900 number.
Well, it was something that was just kind of experiment. A gentleman tried it, and we just did a little advertising on National Network and told people to call up and you know, get a chance to kind of express their opinion, and which they did. And we had 96 point something approval rate.
No kidding. I was going to ask you what kind of calls.
Out of 11,000 people.
Is that so? 90, so that's not doing bad. What were some of the disagreeing comments?
Well, actually, they didn't have a chance to say anything. It was just a matter of pushing buttons.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
I thought that was pretty good, though, altogether.
Do they get to talk to you direct?
No.
No. Okay.
No, not really. No. I'd have a hard time talking to 11,000 people.
I believe, yeah, you'd be busy.
One at a time, you know.
Yeah, especially if you have to listen to all their complaints. Considering you speak your mind in a lot of the songs, what are the other songs that were considered controversial at the time that you wrote them or released them?
Well, In America was, to some extent, though it's hard to believe that it would have been controversial, it was a little on the controversial side.
How many years ago was that?
Was in 1980, I think, 80 or 81.
I remember when it came out, I played it. Yeah.
And it's hard to believe because we've had a big wave of patriotism since then, but at that time it was not, you know, it was a pro-American song, and it had been a long time since there had been one of those. Well, Uneasy 88 has been a little controversial.
Yeah, what was the Uneasy Rider 2 deal?
Yeah.
What happened? What was that deal?
Well, I'd rather not get into that because I can't.
All right. I have a question here. I had read about it, and I was going to ask you questions. We'll pass on that. It's all right.
I may not say anything without offending some people, and I
don't don't worry about it.
Offend anybody.
What else is on the Simple Man album? What other kind of music?
We had another release called. Well, we've had 4 singles off of it. Of course, Simple Man, Mr. DJ. What This World Needs is a few more rednecks, and now we're into a song called. Was it 25 or was it 26? It's about the lost years. It's called Was It 26? We haven't done a video on that one yet. How come during the Fire on the Mountain years, Saddle Tramp, and Million Mile Reflection LP, those great times, they were good country albums. Why were they considered crossover pop country and all that during those years? Well, it was a different time in radio, actually. What we call the AOR stations, the album-oriented stations, played all kinds of music, and they played country type music and you know some of them, all kinds of music, and as that has kind of changed, and the only outlet for country music is country radio stations now, but it was very much mainstream at one time. Oh yeah. What's your opinion about labeling music? I think we label it a little too closely at times. I think it's now wait a minute, you're talking about labeling music as far as country rock, country, and you know, and I think there's definite styles of music, but I think sometimes we tend to get a little too carried away with calling something one particular kind of music. I like some of all kinds of music, and I say if the country music listener likes it, if the country music fan likes it, then it's country.
Yeah, I agree with you. Do you think the labeling is necessary to sell records?
I don't. You know, it seems to be. Of course. I guess, you know, for radio, basically, as they're trying to define what their style is and that sort of thing, I guess it would probably seem that way to them. But I think a good record is a good record, and if it finds an outlet where people can hear it, then they'll buy it if they like it.
You started out as a rock and roll band years ago. You were, again, labeled as a rock and roll band. How long did it take before the country folks realized that Charlie Daniels' music was country?
Well, you can listen to cuts off of Fire on the Mountain that still play on the radio. Some songs like Long Haired Country Boy and the South's Gonna Do It.
Yeah, that was a great one.
And of course, the sound, the studio sounds have got a whole lot better over the years, but basically that music falls right in with the music they play on the radio nowadays. It's contemporary. That's what I'm saying, yeah. So I don't think we've changed. I think the industry's changed.
The industry changed long. Yeah. So you're saying over the past 20 years or 18 years, whatever it has been, you've been on the road and playing music, your music hasn't changed?
Well, it's changed, but I mean, it's not in concept and, you know, in theory, it's changed. We've always played a big variety of music. You could pick up one song. We've had songs that were like, you know, 12 minutes long that were kind of jam sort of things. It would be kind of hard-edged. It bordered on kind of blues, rock, and jazz, but at the same time, you turn around, we have a song like Orange Blossom Special, or South's Gonna Do It, or Texas, or Devil Went Down to Georgia, or something. So we've always had a variety of music on our albums.
What is the most successful album to date that you've had out? Devil?
Million Mile Reflections and Fire on the Mountain.
No kidding.
Yeah,
I thought Devil would have been them first.
Well, it is. Million Mile Reflections is, I was speaking of, that's the album that the Devil Went Down to Georgia was on, yeah.
I thought there was an album called Devil. All right, maybe I got confused. Were there any controversial subjects on those albums?
Not really.
No,
I don't think so. No,
you write most of your own songs?
Yeah, most of them, yeah.
And it's just what you have on your mind at the time that you write about?
Well, that's hard to say. I don't really think about it. When I start writing a song, if I get an idea for it, it's hard to say where it came from.
See, I was just talking to Travis Tritt, and he says he has to live it to write it. Now, is that you?
No,
you don't have that theory.
I don't have to live it to write it.
Yeah, okay. What was your first #1 song?
Devil Went Down to Georgia was the first #1 song. In fact, it was the only #1 song we've ever had.
Is that so? I never realized that. And you wrote it. Yeah, yeah. You're basically a legend in the music business. I read a paragraph that says, Charlie Daniels is a legend in the music business who defies time and trends, but always returns to the top of the charts again and again and again. How do you manage that all the time, to keep bouncing, you know?
Well, we live it. We live our music. I don't mean we live the words in our song by any means, but you know, we're very actively involved in it. We work awfully hard at it.
How'd you get into the music business way back when?
I learned a few chords on a guitar, and somebody offered me a job playing in a beer joint.
That was your first day job?
Yeah, well, basically, yeah, other than playing square dances and that sort of thing.
Were you?
Oh,
the fiddle player, yeah, the fiddle player with the square dances, sure. What kind of music did you play with the Misty Mountain Boys?
Bluegrass.
Was it? Well, you started out with bluegrass in those days, and you changed to whatever. How about the Jaguars?
Copy band. We were a club band. We played mostly dance-type music.
Yeah, where'd you play all those dance tunes? And all over the country?
Yeah.
You traveled on the road quite a bit?
Pretty much so, yeah.
And what year did the CDB come into?
Oh, about 1971, along in there, 72, somewhere in that neighborhood.
And before that was just the other two bands that you played along with. Any of the members in the band that were members of the...
Taz. In fact, it was 71 because he'll put in 20 years next year.
Is that so? That's so. What's the, I read in our story about you, Southern Bar Circuit. What was that?
Just beer joints in southern towns.
That was it, huh? How about, you had a part of the Bob Dylan Nashville Skyline?
Yeah, I played on 3 albums with Bob. I did Nashville Skyline, Self-Portrait, New Morning.
Whatever happened to that album? It just never somehow...
Nashville Skyline?
Did it?
It's a classic album.
Did it? I played off that a few times already.
It's a classic. It's a classic album. It came out in probably 1969 or somewhere along in there, 1970.
Yeah. Let's talk about your volunteer jams. What's the purpose of them?
Celebration of music. Well, what started was we were doing the Fire on the Mountain album, and we wanted to do 2 cuts live, and it was a live recording session to start with, and we just enjoyed it so much, and the people enjoyed it so much, we decided we'd do one once in a while.
How many did you have so far? Just once in a while?
13 or 14. 14.
Is that
14,
so?
yeah.
Where do they take place?
In Nashville,
Are
in,
they?
in Middle
What-
Tennessee.
What time of year?
Well, we've had them all different times of
Is
year.
that
We had them
so?
wintertime, summertime, fall.
There's no kidding. And everybody gets together and just jams for a while.
Well, that's oversimplifying it a little bit.
Is it? Okay. I've read another quote. It says, I have to communicate with people. I'm not trying to communicate with intellectuals.
I don't know how to communicate with intellectuals.
You communicate with everybody.
Yeah, I come from a long line of farmers and timber people and people that make a living, and blue collar type people, and that's the area that my mind operates in, and I don't consider myself to be intellectual, and I don't know. I don't mean as a put down intellectuals by any means, but I run into people that don't. I don't know. We have nothing in common.
Yeah.
Is basically what I'm talking about. I run into people I don't have anything in common with.
I do too.
Yeah.
You know, just have nothing to say to somebody. You know, as much as you like to say something, just.
And I get misunderstood sometimes by people who consider themselves to be intellectuals. I get misunderstood. They tend to, because I see some of the things that some people write about me sometimes, and it's like they're so far off the mark.
Isn't that true?
That it doesn't, it don't even sound like they're writing about somebody else.
You start to wonder where they put, why they're putting your name into it.
Right.
How about the short story book? You published a book. Tell us about that.
Well, it's just a friend of mine told me one time, said, you write story songs, why don't you just try writing stories? So I tried it one time and found out I could do it, and I put some of them together, and a publisher wanted to put them out, so that's basically what happened. Really.
Is it easier to write a short story than a song?
Not necessarily.
Are some of the stories a continuation of some of your songs?
Some of them are, yeah, but it takes the same type of creative energy and input and that sort of thing, but it's actually not, it's a different, it's not, sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's harder. You're both, either one, you're going into unmapped territory. You don't have anything, you just gotta, you're pulling things out of the air. It's just a God-given talent. I couldn't do it without that talent.
Would you do another book?
Sure. I've got one started, but I don't want to ever finish it.
You know when you finish it?
I don't have time to work on it.
On the road.
I've started for several years.
How many days a year you on the road?
I'll be on the road in excess of 200 days this year.
You never see home.
Once in a while.
Once in a while.
Yeah.
Call home, huh? Yeah. What do you do for a hobby?
I
Your time off.
I enjoy playing golf.
Do you?
I team rope.
Do you? Ah.
I enjoy horseback things.
What's the Texas Trail Ride? Is there something? Did I read it?
Texas Trail Ride.
Did you go to Texas?
Well, I've been down to a ranch at Roundup time a couple of times and helped the cowboys.
Do you? Yeah.
I have.
You enjoy that?
I love it. It's hard work, but I love it.
Yeah. So get you out there and give you physical exercise. That's pretty good. You raise quarter horses?
Yeah.
How are they doing?
Great.
Quarter horse business is good?
We got the best blood on our place, the best bunch of horses we have ever had in the 10 years we've been doing it.
Isn't that something? What's about the Cabin Fever Entertainment? You did something for Cabin Fever.
We did a videotape called Home Folks and Highways.
Yes, you did.
It is kind of a, well, we went to a class reunion. We went down to talk to some of my family down in North Carolina. We went to, did a concert. They followed us on a tour we did in Germany. I went to the Berlin Wall on the east side and the west side, and it's just a kind of it's a slice of what we've been doing for the last few years.
That's still available?
In fact, it just came out.
If you can call 1-800-55-FEVER, you can get that.
1-800-55-FEVER, yeah.
That's it. And what's on there, Little Folks?
Yeah, Little Folks is on there. Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Tell us about you have 2 gold albums, 4 platinums, and a couple double platinums. Not bad, huh? How about the awards? What have you done with awards lately?
We haven't won the awards the last little while. I've got 4 CMA awards and I think 3 ACM awards and 1 Grammy.
How about the Playboy Readers Poll Award?
I've got 2 of those, yeah.
Any unusual awards?
I don't think so. I've got an Australian award that we won in Australia. For I think it was Foreign Group of the Year or something like that. Or actually, I left the award over there. It was supposed to be mailed to me, and I never got it, but we did win it.
That's so. Where is your music when you travel worldwide? Charlie Daniels Band, of course, worldwide. Where, other than the United States, is it received the best?
Well, Canada.
Is it? Right to our northern neighbor.
We did a tour of Germany this past April, but it was bases. It was Army and Air Force bases, and we were very well received over there.
Good.
Of course, it was mostly Americans.
Yeah. How do they know what you're saying in foreign languages? When you go out to play like German, they don't understand.
Well, oddly enough, I think we're probably the only one-language country in the world. I mean, of most of the really well-educated countries. Most people, or a lot of people, I won't say most people in Germany, a lot of people in Germany speak a lot of English.
Do they?
It's kind of their second language. In fact, a lot of people speak it very fluently.
Is that so?
Yeah, and a lot of European countries are like France, is second language there is Spanish. You know, I mean, it seems like a lot of people speak French, speak Spanish, and but a lot of people especially in Germany, speak English enough to get by at least.
Country music well received. Yeah. You've been to Australia?
Yeah.
And of course, CDB
That's
is
my favorite foreign country. So I love Australia. Yeah.
And they love Charlie Daniels.
They really like music down there. Yeah. They're very similar to us. We're 200 years old. They're only 100 years old.
Right.
But I mean, we're both kind of fledgling countries, and a lot of their attitudes are very much like ours. And it's a big country with a lot of outback and a lot of similarities between it and the United States.
Yeah, good. I'll tell you, I'm glad to have you on my show, sir.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have Charlie Daniels. I'll tell you, a legend for me, you know, to have to sit.
Let's do it again sometime.
We'll do it next time you come to Jersey.
All right.
Charlie, it's been a pleasure to have you on my show.
You.
Thank you very much. This is Herb Sudson. Again, it's a pleasure to have Charlie Daniels on the show. Until next time, keep it country, and I'm Herb. Take care.